Hello, this is Mike Lively from Northern Kentucky University, and today we're going to start part 6 of FlexPress. And we're going to show you how to use labels, lists, and containers, and specifically the Hbox and Hbox containers. Now let's run the program and remind ourselves of what we did last time. And basically we just brought in the XML data from our WordPress MySQL database that's on our local machine, and that worked very well. And now let's add some labels and a list box. So let's go back to source view. So we're back in source view, so let's take a look at the code again and remind ourselves we have a panel which contains a repeater which is repeating a text area element, and now we want to add a label in there, and we want to stack the label right on top of the text area. And one way to do that is to use a Vbox, because a Vbox stacks one item on top of another. So all we have to do is open that up a little bit and put in the Vbox. So start with your less than sign and MX V, and there's your code heading Vbox. And let's close that with a greater than sign. And then we'll use our we'll highlight our Vbox and use our hold our Alt key down and arrow it down to sandwich it between the text area. So what we want to do now is just go ahead and add a label here, and that will stack that label right on top of the text area. So use a less than sign to start the MX label, and there's my label component right there. And I want to give it a text element, and I want to actually bring that text element in from the XML. And the way I do that is to basically grab a bindable expression, and we have one here previously done for the text area box. I'm just going to copy that and paste that right into the label component. And now I want to change this post comment to most likely something that has to do with title. So the way to find out what that tag has to be is actually go to our XML, which we generated in I think lectures 3 and 4, and look for the actual XML node. And we're going to scroll down here. Here's the post content that's going to the text area. Just below that, I believe, should be a title element. And there it is, about me, and it's post title. And copy that, and now we can get out of this browser. And let's go back and paste that right in there for post comment. And so now what's going to happen is the label is going to bring into its text element the MyRepeater current item post title. So when you hit that current item, you'll get the title, and in a Vbox above the text area, which is the post comment. Let's run that and see if that works. And you see I got an error here, so let's go ahead and check that. It says element type MXL label must be followed by a greater than sign. So I forgot to close my label. You can see that right here. Here's my label. There's no closing tag, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's close that. We'll put a / greater than sign. So now I've closed it. Let's do a save, and you can see when I save that error goes away. I'm good. So let's go ahead and test that now. And here we have it. We have our label right here above, and as we scroll down we can see we have our content below, and we scroll down to different boxes. Now we have our label appearing. And that's pretty cool. The Hbox stacks it just above the text area content. So everything's working well. Let's go back and do a little bit more work. I like to add a second label now. Let's add the date of when this was created. So we'll actually just go ahead and copy this. And just go ahead and paste it just below that label. And I want to go back to my XML and grab a date element. So let's do that right now. And here's a post modified. Let's just grab that tag. And place that in for the place of post title. And now let's go ahead and run this program. Save it. So let's run it. And now we can see we're getting our title and the date it was modified, and underneath that all the content for the post. And that's actually fairly easy to do. So now let's do something a little bit different. Let's add a list box. So I'm in design view. I'm going to put the list box right next to the post. Let's move the post over. And since I'm in the canvas container, I can actually absolutely coordinate these things or move them around how I want to. And let's drag out a list box. And there's my list box. And I want to populate that list box with all the post names. So I've brought a list box out on the stage and I want to populate it. So let's do that. Go back to source code. And let's go ahead and go back to design, click on our list box so it's highlighted, and go back to source code. Here's my list box and I want to populate that. I can get rid of this end tag, don't need it. I'll just put a / to close it within one label. And let's open this up a little bit, and the list box has a data provider, so let's go ahead and hit data. So you get some code hitting here, data. There's my data provider, let's grab that. And my data provider will be WP post, or my WP post. Let's just copy it from here and paste it, save us a little time and maybe the frustration of actually typing it in wrong. So that's my WP post. And now I have to do something a little bit special. I want to put in what's called a label field. So I want to put in what's called a label field. So let's do that right now. Once again, get that code hitting. LA, there you go, label field. Click on that. And my label field is going to be whatever element I want to bring in from the XML. So let's go back and take a look at the XML. I want to bring in the title, so it's going to be post_title. Let's copy that. And let's go ahead and paste that in there. Let's save it to make sure there's no errors. And now let's run it and see if that list box is now populated. And there you go, the list box is now populated with all the names of my post. Now we're going to show you how to just click on one of these list box and actually filter out the particular post that you're looking for. We'll do that in an upcoming tutorial. But it shows you how easy it is to bring this data in using the array collection techniques. Let's go ahead and go back. Now I might not be happy with having my date below the about me or my title. So I want to put the date over here on the other side of the panel, and I can do that using an Hbox. So let's go back and apply that Hbox. So go back to our code, and we can see the two labels are sandwiched in a Vbox above a text box. Let's just stick an Hbox above that. MX:Hbox. And basically that puts things horizontally. And close that with a greater than sign. Highlight that and use my Alt down key. Let's highlight that again, sorry. And press Alt and the arrow down and put those two labels in there. And now that Hbox will be Vboxed with the text box, which has the two labels, which are Hbox. So let's save that and let's go ahead and run that. And you can see now the title and the date are horizontally justified. So if you go to the other ones, you can see that occurs for all of them. One of the issues that we might have, however, if the label's too long, you wonder what happens to your text. Let's see if we can find an example of that. We can see the date is pushed off the screen. So we could actually kind of do some more work with that with other containers, and that's a topic for next time. So today we treated labels, list, and containers, specifically the Hbox and the Vbox.